Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is part 3 of Stuck Together. It was needed, it was necessary, and you asked so nicely, so I couldn't refuse. It picks off directly where part 2 ended and is a little racy and has a little bit of go Hawks. So I'll go now and read part 3 for you. Enjoy! Don't get too ahead of yourself, you replied, clinging to the last bit of self-control you owned. His fingers through your feathers were systematically switching off all of your defences, one by one, and he could see that you were slowly giving in until you were left standing there without any walls up. He never touched you like this, I can tell, Hawk said as he lifted one of your wings and stepped underneath it to move in behind you. He gripped onto your wing bones, where they were protruding from your back, and pulled on them a little, using firm yet gentle pressure to stretch you. And as you relaxed into his stretch, you felt them crack, and you sighed with delight. That always feels good to do at the end of the day. Sometimes after flying a lot, you just need to crack your wing bones, you know? Hawk said casually. Yeah, I always felt like they needed a good crack, but he could never do it, you said. And truth be told, I've never had anyone crack mine, but I make do by lying on the bed and cracking them myself, Hawks replied. Well, let me return the favour then, you said, turning around and facing him again. Aren't you a little short? Hawks asked playfully. You need to be quite strong to... Next thing he knew, you had shoved him in the chest and forced him to stumble backwards onto your bed. Roll over, you commanded, hands on hips with wings out menacingly. Whoa there, feisty one, he chuckled as he rolled over and got himself situated better on the bed, while you got up behind him and straddled his hips. Think I like this position, he leered, looking back at you over his shoulder. You reached forwards and grabbed his wing bones, then laid a knee in between his wings and knelt down sharply as you pulled back on his bones. Crunch! Multiple ricochets of the cracking of bones sounded in the cabin, immediately followed by a cry of surprise/relief from Hawks and an exclamation from you. Whoa, that was a good one. My back, Hawks wheezed. Did it feel good? You asked. Whoa, yeah, but it was aggressive, he said with a slight chuckle. It does feel much better though, he added as he flicked his wings around a bit. You slid back down his body as he did a plank and then got out from underneath you, then turned back to you on the bed. You were kneeling and he was on all fours. See, we're made for each other, he said in a seductive voice. It's always like this with you, isn't it? You said, putting the palm of your hand up to his face as he tried to inch forwards. And it's always like this with you, isn't it? He replied. You know you want to be with me, but you just keep stopping yourself. If you're scared to have your heart broken again, it's not going to happen with me, he replied. How do I know I can trust you? You asked pointedly, feeling like he had struck some type of vulnerability in you. You can't know, he replied nonchalantly, unless you give it a try. You sighed, letting your hand slide down his face. What do you want from me? You asked. I just want you, that's all. I want to show you all the good things in life. I want to show you how a healthy and happy relationship should be, he replied. You reached out and wrapped your arms around his neck, then slowly pulled him closer so you could hug him, until his forehead was resting on your shoulder. Slowly from there, his head shifted, his lips tracing your neck while you tilted your head to the side and back to allow him access. He wasn't rushed, he wasn't pushy, he just enjoyed any area that you would let him have. You felt his warmth, the calmness of his movements, and you went to lie back on the bed, but he stopped you. He always made you lie down on the bed, didn't he? He asked rhetorically. I know it's not comfortable to lie down on your back because the wings get crushed. That's a dick move on his part. Here. He shifted out of the way and lay you down on your stomach so that he could kiss the nape of your neck, crawling over your back and sinking his hips to yours. Your trust in Hawks grew, and as the zipper on the back of your skin-tight hero costume lowered, so did your resistance, until you were skin to skin, arching and rocking against the man who truly knew how to hold you. His wings and yours flicked back and forth a little and quivered as the sweat dripped from your worked-up bodies, the silence of the night broken only with the cries of delight from you both. And then afterwards you curled up together, not wanting to redress until absolutely necessary. The next morning you both awoke and reclothed, ready to check out a few more things in the area before finishing up the mission. You felt much better than after the night with Hawks, and he again, reiterated that he was happy to let you choose the pace, even though you two had already jumped all in that night before, and you were happy about that. With the area surveyed and no more criminal activity cited, you both headed back to the cabin to collect your things and then head back to the headquarters. "Well, that was a mission of success," Hawk said brightly as you both took off. "Which mission are you referring to?" you asked. "I feel like you're not talking about catching villains." "Yeah, you know which one I'm referring to," he said with a chuckle. You smirked to yourself and kept pace a little behind him, then alighted on the roof of the agency a few moments later. "You want to get dinner tonight?" Hawks asked. "If you're free, that is." "Yeah, okay," he replied. "I'm going to go home first, though, and have a shower. And no, you can't join me," you added in when you saw he was about to take the opportunity to ask. "Damn," he replied with a click of his fingers. "Well, I'll text you a little later then to finalise plans, yeah?" "Sounds good," you said, stepping in through the door of the building and walking down the stairs. There was a little bit of debriefing to be done before you were allowed to go, and you took your bags and headed straight for home and the shower. You had only just gotten out of the shower when you heard a knock at the door. "I swear to God, if it's Hawks," you muttered to yourself with a smile on your lips as you walked to the door in a towel. You pulled the door open and the smile that was on your face faded when you came face to face with your freshly exed boyfriend. "Baby," he said in a pleading, yucky voice. "No," you said sternly. "Please, can we talk? I miss you." "No," he said again. "You've made your choice and I've made mine, so go." You went to close the door on him, but he quickly put his foot in the way and you couldn't shut it. "Please, hear me out," he begged. "I know I said some things that I probably shouldn't have." "It's too late for that now," you said, trying to kick his foot out the door. "I just want to hold you. Love you like you liked it. You know I'm the only one who can please you like that." You snorted with baffled disbelief. This guy couldn't be serious, could he? After the night you had with Hawks, you suddenly knew why it had been so hard to reach any type of climax with this dropkick. He had no idea what he was doing. Your ex heard your snort and immediately got his back up. "What?" he snapped. "What was that for? You saying that I didn't do you right? That's a lie." "Is it?" another male voice suddenly said, and you peeked through the crack in the door to behind your ex to where your somewhat current boyfriend was now standing, looking his usual smug self. "Hawks, really? Right now?" you deadpanned. Your ex put two and two together and immediately spun to face Hawks. "Did you screw my girl?" he asked in a threatening tone. "I'm not yours," you snapped at your ex. "We're not together anymore, so kindly leave." "Shut up, Yin. Not talking to you anymore. Talking to this bag of feathers," your ex snapped. "Classy," Hawk said with a smirk. "Is this how you talk to her? No wonder you're not together anymore." "Hawk, stop, please," you begged him, seeing that he was going to rile your ex up very easily. "Shut up," your ex snapped at you again. "Don't tell me to shut up, you shut up. Get off my porch," you said. "Yeah, move along," Hawk said. "I don't want you anywhere near Yin." "Or," your ex jeered at him, taking a step towards the handsome hero. Hawks didn't look fazed at all, and this guy was a douche. He knew how to handle douches. "You go and keep getting ready for our date later and I'll deal with this guy," Hawks called to you calmly. Well, as you can imagine, that set your ex off and it was on. He threw wild punch after wild punch which landed nowhere, while Hawks teased him mercilessly, only just staying out of reach, which infuriated your ex even more. And the vicious cycle continued until your ex fell over and lay on the ground panting. "Now," Hawks said, landing lightly beside him, "you go home and don't come back here. We won't have any problems, yeah? But if I do find you harassing Yin, you'll be in the courthouse slapped with an AVO before you can even blink." Your ex was still pissed about the outcome of the fight, but he had no option but to back away at this point, so he got up and glared at Hawks as he sauntered off. You had raced off to put clothes on during their scuffle outside and had returned, clothed, to watch the last of their one-sided fight from your front window, hiding behind the drapes. Hawks, after watching your ex walk away, then came up to the door and knocked politely. "Good evening," he said brightly. "I just saw you left some trash on the road, so I removed it." You burst out laughing. "Yeah, thanks for that. I needed it gone." "It won't be back. So, about our date?" How about I pick you up right now and we go? He asked with a cheeky smile. Yeah, sounds good. Let me just grab my shoes. And that's the end of part 3. Classic Hawks. We love him. Cheeky asshole to the core, and that's facts. Stay tuned for next week's one-shot. I haven't worked out what it will be yet, so here's to hanging out for the following week to find out who it's going to be. See you then!